Oh my. Oh my. This bodes of trouble. What has he been doing here? Uh-oh. Oh. A downtrodden, worse for the wear, troll stares at the party. Bah, bah. His voice, or its voice, comes out in a hoarse croak. The party stops immediately, and Bracken pads over to the gate, looking through at the troll. Bah, bah. The troll sitting in the cage is so thin you can see his ribs through the skin. Although you see no scars, his pelt is matted with dried blood, and his eyes are dull and unfocused. Various knives, saws, and bloody manacles scattered about leave little doubt as to what this troll has suffered. Bracken cocks his head, looking through the bars at the troll. Bah, bah. The troll croaks through clenched teeth. Kill me. Enough. It hurts. And here comes Bartholomew Delgado. He rushes into the laboratory, waving a sample of branded troll skin excitedly. It was simpler than I thought. This is just a simple spell of fire protection. Any competent wizard could cast it. The unusual element was the way the spell was applied. This wasn't cast by any human hand, though. Oh, no. The brand was stamped on with some artifact, making it possible to make trolls fire-resistant in massive numbers. And then he stops. The party has looked at the troll. Zara looks at Bartholomew. Her face is troubled. Bartholomew continues, ignoring or perhaps not even noticing the party's disturbed faces. So triumphant does he feel about his discovery. This is grave news for us all. My fire traps are useless now, and making acid traps will take time and resources. More importantly, for trolls to organize in such a way, there must be some greater intelligence operating behind the scenes. And if that's the case, the list of potential targets for a force that formidable is a short one. Bartholomew pauses and then begins to rummage through his lab. Nah, I promised you a reward. Let's see. He pulls out a drawer, looks around it, throws a bottle over his shoulder, breaks onto the floor. Yes. Nah. Here you go. Please accept these acid wands. I'm afraid you may need them soon. And he hands her one wand of acid arrow. Valerie ignores the wand of acid arrow. First explain to me why this troll is in your cage. Bartholomew's eyes light up, not at all sensing that what he has done is inhumane to a troll who cannot fight back. Oh, yes! Oh, yes! This, he points to it, is the greatest project of my career. I am exploring the regenerative abilities of trolls in the hopes of passing them on to humans. Can you imagine the possibilities? Pain, senility, mutilations, even death itself defeated. Oh, you weren't concerned I had acquired the troll illicitly, were you? Oh, no, don't worry. I purchased it legally. I'm not some poacher out there roaming the Baroness's woods. Valerie says, quietly, she says, sometimes I have trouble accepting laws that would protect lowlifes like him. But he is within his rights, unfortunately, she says quietly to Zara. Zara is lawful neutral. And as a druid, she firmly believes that all creatures have a right to live unless they attack, in which case it's fair combat, knowing she could be killed in that combat, or they could. She doesn't believe that, she has a right to just go around just killing everything. If something seems of a danger to her, then she will deal with it with the matching amount of defense. So, but I also do not always pay attention to saying just exactly what she would say if she's lawful neutral. I pick what she would say. I will be frank with you, Bartholomew. I am troubled. This is a disgusting practice. But I would be remiss if I said that it violated any laws. For as Valerie has informed me, it does not. But I cannot, if she can't forbid him, she wouldn't do that. That's not true. It doesn't violate any laws. But, as you have noticed, I am your Baroness, and I command you to free him. This creature is being treated inhumanely. You must be able to do your magic without doing experiments on other creatures. He is harmless. He cannot fight back. Set it free? Ho ho ho! Set it free so it can come back and eat both you and me too. You are... He stops abruptly in the middle of saying insane and remembers to whom he is speaking. Valerie frowns and says, these experiments are deplorable, but the law is with him. If you are a baroness, not a bandit chief, you have no right to interfere. Zara holds up her hand to Valerie. The law is one thing, but I am a follower of the laws of nature. And that I want to clarify. I've said that throughout this throughout this Let's Play, this series, that Zara follows, she's lawful neutral. The law is one of nature. So she will always choose the thing which will lead her to let all creatures who are not harming each other be free. Who are not harming her or causing any, if she can, just like she did with that owl cat, if she can work with the, release creatures who are being harmed from pain, that is part of her duties as a Fae sister. So she turns to Valerie and says, then call me a bandit chief if you will. But this goes against the very laws of nature. This creature is doing no harm. Some things simply mustn't be allowed, law or no law. And if you think that makes me a bad Baroness, then perhaps you're right. Valerie gives Zara the slightest look of scorn. I cannot say I am greatly disappointed in you, but as my expectations were not high to begin with. Huh. I do not like that you treat your Baroness as such. Whether I'm a bad Baroness or not, Valerie, I am still deserving of respect. Not only as a Baroness, but as a companion, and someone who has traveled many roads with you. I am disappointed in you in those words. Zara says that without any hesitation, looking Valerie right in the face until Valerie can no longer meet her eyes, and looks down at the floor. Bartholomew watches this, and the whole time his brain is calculating. Is it worth it to offend the Baroness? Especially when the Baroness just showed a little bit of her power with Valerie. He suddenly decides that it is not. Bartholomew throws a long, sullen glance at Zara. And a little minuscule, slightly mocking bow. He says, "Oh, at once, Your Grace." He finally manages those words through clenched teeth. He walks off to sulk in another area of his lab. And Zara, let's see if I can I free him at all? No, that sucks. I really want to free him. So I think what we'll say is that Bracken rattles at the cage, and then Bartholomew I suppose Zara might ask about this, but she doesn't really care. She just wants to get out of here. And we have some trouble here. A group of hardy people with axes, most likely lumberjacks, are menacing a fragile Nixie. Two lumberjacks stand before her, relaxed and discontented. The lead lumberjack shakes his fist at the Nixie and yells, "Let them go, you swamp freak! If you don't, I'll burn this rotten grove to the ground on my word!" "You're the freaks, and my name is Milianze. Thank you very much. And if you keep being rude like this, I'll just drown those jumbos in the lake, understand?" Noticing you, the lead lumberjack grins and waves. "You there! You seem a capable sort. Interested in some coin? Name's Corax. We're loggers here in this forest. We could use your help in freeing our people from this Gorgon's claws." "We should help her," says Lindsay. "No, them. I don't know. Why can't people and Fae live in peace?" Solve the problem with force. Jeez. That's ridiculous. Zara will say, "What's going on here?" "Well, it's like this. We were minding our own business, cutting trees and splitting logs, like we do. And then this hag," points a thumb over his shoulder at the Nixie standing in the pond, "shows up out of nowhere, screeches at us, and then jinxes two of ours and threatens to drown them. With these Fae breeding like rabbits everywhere, what's an honest, hard-working man to do, right, lads?" And the other lumberjacks, Yeah, too right. Oh. "Stupid jumbo! You were the ones who breed like rabbits, spreading into more and more space. We've lived here since forever. I've grown known these trees for more than 100 years. I know them down to the tiniest leaf. She looks over sadly at one of the trees that they've recently felled. And then you show up with your stupid axes to ruin everything. So Zara understands that logging is important. It's very important for building. However, she would absolutely side with the Nixie, with Miliance, because she would want the loggers, if the loggers are warned off of a patch, then that means that the Nixies are protecting those trees, and that there are so many other trees in the Stolen Lands that there is no need for them to, fight over these particular trees. However, she does believe that Nixie should release his men. She tries to reason with the loggers. Listen. The loggers exchange glances, holding hands on their axes. As a druid, I am sworn to protect the land. And though I know that you have families to feed, this is a big place. There's a lot of trees. Why must you argue over these? Show graciousness to the Nixie and promise to walk away, and I'm sure, and Zara gives a meaningful look to the Nixie, that she will release your men unharmed. She probably attempted to warn you in some way, but perhaps with this, over the sound of your axes, you are unable to hear her cries of distress. And she gives a small smile, a small wry smile, I feel sure you would not have purposely ignored her. The lumberjacks kind of shuffle their feet and look down at the ground. So the forest is big. Please, find other trees to fell. Sure, there might be other spots with trees as fine as these, but how would we find them? And what if there's another Fae there too? Quarreling with the Fae is more trouble than it's worth, as you can see. The forest is very big. Perhaps if you approach the trees that you wish to fell, and perhaps if you make sure that they are not yet under the protection of any other creature, or, even better, to negotiate which trees that you can fell, so that you are not willy-nilly taking down their entire homes, then you might be heard more and welcomed in the forest by the Fae creatures. They are very powerful and sometimes excitable. The lumberjack looks at the Nixie with suspicion. Melananze makes a scary face as she stretches her webbed hands out to Corax and wiggling her fingers. Ooh, I'm powerful, just like she said. All right, he says, all right. It's not like we were dead set on this grove in the first place. If she gives us back our people unharmed, he says, we'll leave the place in peace. On my word, as my name is Corax. Zara walks over, kneels next to the water, with Bracken right behind her as usual. Bracken sits down. Melananze looks at Bracken, her eyes cocked. And it's almost as if the Nixie and the leopard have a little conversation. Bracken occasionally growling and giving low little mews and occasionally licking his chops, his tongue lolling out. Zara knows that when Bracken's tongue lolls out like that, it's his form of laughing. The Nixie looks at Bracken right in his eyes. And then suddenly she takes one tiny little webbed hand and another tiny little webbed hand and then just kisses him right on the nose. What a dear you are! What an absolute dear! Bracken growls and a low happy growl. Then he turns to to Zara and he says, I have asked her to release the hostages. I have told her that they will leave this place and never return. Melananzi says, I must ask you, Leopard, what's your name, by the way? Bracken growls, Bracken. And Zara is amazed that Nixie, though not surprised, but she is pleased that the Fae can understand the language of her leopard. And she's not surprised. Nixie is a Fae creature and she is a Fae sister, so she knows it's part of her initiation to learn some of what the Fae can do. So she is glad that she can talk to Bracken as well. Milianze can. Milianze says, but Bracken, who's going to bring back my trees then? They'll come in here, they'll smash everything in sight, and then they just leave. Oh, no deal, Bracken. As beautiful as you are, no deal. You gotta fix what they broke, and maybe I'll let them go. Bracken sits down and wraps his tail around his front paws. Now think on it, little one. How are we supposed to restore a tree that has already been cut down? We are, or could, take the time to plant some more for you before we leave this area. And my companion, my little kit here, and he nods over at Zara, would say for sure that she would send men to bring more seeds to this grove. She has that power, you know. And Zara says, I would, of course. But you humans, I can't trust you, says the Nixie. You're always like this. They just come in and they just destroy, and then when it's time to clean up their messes, you know how they are, Bracken. They're gone. Fine. Since those lumberjacks are clearly clueless. And I'll tell you what you can do, right? They have these magic things. They look like little feathers. They're like feather tokens. If you throw one on the ground anywhere, a tree springs up. And then your people's mages, you know, and she looks at Zara, like, you know, the people you could bring back to seed the forest. Your people's mages who tread the swamps more often than others, they can make them. Buying a couple won't break your bank. My cousin Teresa can also make them, and she lives in the Nile Marches. Either way, you bring a handful of them back here, and I'll let your goons go. I promise. All right. Zara looks at Bracken. Bracken looks at Zara. Then Zara walks over, nods once, or stands up, stretches, nods once, and says, we have seen them as we have traveled already. We have a few, but we will bring more. Wait here, and we will take care of this. In the meantime, little Nixie, you must promise me that you will not harm these men, for it would not be a good action, and not one of a true fae like yourself. She says, do I have to? Bracken says, yes, or as you say, no deal. Oh, no deal. All right, she says. I'll keep them here. They'll be waiting right here. It's not likely they have anything else to do, right? The Nixie chuckles as she tussles one of the lumberjack's hair. He smiles up at her faithfully because she has done a fae spell on them, so that they are under her thrall. I guess they're enthralled with her. All right, so Bracken pads back to the group, and Zara walks back with him, and then she says, it is taken care of. Tristian bows to the lumberjacks and says, wait here. And then as the party walks on, Zara,
You're but a footnote
whoa,
in the
hello.
story.
And we are attacked by wolves. And unfortunately, like as Zara's creed, she has no trouble taking down creatures who attack her. But if they do not attack her, or she can somehow subdue them with magic, which she doesn't have, then she, of course, would allow them to, well, she would allow them to live. They might kill her. Her way of, her idea of a perfect death is to die in the forest at the hands of, either peacefully through sleep, or if it must be done by violence, let it be by teeth and claw. So, she finds no shame if she were to be taken down by a wolf or any other creature of the world, of the land. In any case, let's go ahead and just do this. We got a trip there. Bracken got a trip, so that's that. And the party walks on with Bracken saying his piece to the wolves that they pass on to the next world.
No stopping now.
Ah, well, here's one of them right here, a token of the Dryad. I wonder if that's enough. Okay, so we have 2 of these tokens of the Dryad. Let's see if she will accept those. Ah, good. Wonderful. So we have 2 of them. And Bracken says, that was short work of it. He says, give them to me. And he opens up his mouth, and Zara gently places each of the little seeds in his right on his mouth, so he can hold them there. And then he walks over and drops them in front of Melianze, and then sits down and wraps his tail around his front paws again. He says, there, now, little Fae, will you free those creatures, the human? He jerks his head back over his head and to the humans who are sitting at the river. We have gathered your seeds. And then she does it again. She just grabs Bracken by both, right by his whiskers, and then plants another little kiss right on his nose. Mwah! Oh, I knew you could do it. I could do it, friend Bracken. She scoops up the little seeds and says, I will get to planting now. And, I will get to planting now. And I won't hold you back anymore. I'll let them go. Though, and she says reluctantly, it would have been fun to play with them. So we lost a pouch. Oh, so it's the pouch of feather tokens that we lost. Oh, awesome. So I'm glad we bought that. That's great. That's awesome. That saved a lot of trouble. Wonderful. And the lumberjacks are freed. But then Melianze turns to Zara and she says, I used to think all you humans were dumb and nasty. But you don't seem so bad. Let's be friends. And Zara reaches down and gives Melianze a little hug. Of course. If Bracken approves of you, then I do as well. For my friend Bracken has very good taste. Chuckling, Melianze pushes Zara away. Ooh, what are you doing? Stop that. Come on. Here, just take this. Hold off on that cuddly stuff, all right? Well, except for Bracken. He can hug me anytime he wants. And then with that, she runs over to Bracken, wraps her tiny arms around his neck, hugs him, gives him one more kiss, and then dives into the river. We have received a ring from her. A ring of the Fae is a wonderful thing. 46 experience and a chaotic good action. Make sure you don't get lost. You people never seem to watch where you put your feet, she says to the party. And she is off. A river sprite, a river fae, river Nixie is off. Down and over here, Corex says to Zara, well, thank you kindly, he says. I was already thinking there was going to be blood. But as my word, and my name is Corax, I will find some more trees. Zara says, I'm glad to hear it. Be well, and learn that the Fae spirits can be your friends, if you don't antagonize them. He says, all right, I'll try. And then he heads off for larger trees and greener pastures. Okay, so that is that little event taken care of, and that's pretty cool. I'm really glad that we were able to find that feather pouch quickly, so we wouldn't have to go searching all over for it and come back and backtrack. And actually, I'm gonna move the party right here like this, so that I can say to you that I am so glad that you joined us for more Pathfinder Kingmaker. For those of you guys watching live, hang out with me. I'm gonna be with you for a little bit longer, but for those of you watching later on YouTube, I am so glad that you joined me, I should say, today. Join Bracken and Zara. Where's Zara? There she is. For more Pathfinder Kingmaker, the Enhanced Edition. I'll see you in the next episode as we continue to investigate Troll Trouble. And thank you, as always, for watching.